to get us started, just introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Kalia Vanderver. I'm a composer and trombonist living in Brooklyn, New York.
So you wrote a piece for us, and based on the description, it's based on a Hawaiian goddess. Where did you get this inspiration from?
So my family is originally from the Philippines, but I have a lot of family on Hawaii. So both my grandparents grew up on Hawaii on different islands, Kauai and the Big Island. And so, and I recently just visited and I got to see some family while I was there. And I visited this waterfall named Maunawili Falls, which is what the piece is named after. And I started doing some research just about Hawaiian goddesses recently and Hawaiian culture in general. And the one that I was struck most by was the goddess of water and sea, whose name is Namaka. So that's the mythology of the goddess that I chose for this specific piece.
Which composers, since you are one, inspire you most and influence you?
That's a great question. I am really inspired by a few composers, one whose name is Ambrose Akinmusire. He's a really great jazz and contemporary music composer. Another one I would say would be Jen Shu. She's an amazing artist and composer living here in New York City.
If you could choose any place in the world to travel, where would you go?
I would love to go to Greece. That's one on the top of my list. And I would love to go to Asia as well. I've never been. Yeah, Japan specifically.
Okay.
I love Japanese cuisine. And I hear that there are big music lovers over there. So I've been wanting to visit Tokyo and Osaka for a long time.
What's a food you could not do without?
Italian food.
What's a favorite musical moment of yours?
Wow. I would say my album release was one of my favorite musical moments. It had been a long time coming, and I had recently gotten into a bike accident, so I had to postpone the performance. And so at the point in which I did the performance, I was finally healed from the accident. And so it was a big musical and personal moment for me.
What's the album called?
It's called In Bloom.
So what was something you did during COVID to detox?
I did a lot of face masks during COVID. And I would just collect them and I'd do a couple a week, which I don't do anymore, but I should continue doing that.
For the piece that you wrote for us, you are actually getting a dancer to choreograph some beautiful movements to the piece. So talk a little bit about what inspired you to do that.
Yeah, so I'm working with this really great dancer and choreographer named Xenia Mansour, and we actually grew up together in Oak Park, Illinois. Fast forward, we both live in New York now, and the work that I've seen her do has been something that I feel like would go nicely with my compositions. And so I've always wanted to have her work with me on a project, but this seemed like the perfect opportunity. But she'll be doing this movement piece to go along with Maunawili. It'll both be choreographed and some parts will be improvised as well.
What is a random fact about yourself?
When I first started playing trombone, I couldn't reach 7th position, but I could reach it using my toes.
I'm sure your teacher just loved that.
They probably were like, what is this girl doing? But I thought it was amazing.